Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to another episode of Robots Rumble 2. In today's episode, we are going to be creating a robot that you guys have voted on in a previous poll that I made in the last episode, and I'm excited to jump right into it. So without further ado, we're gonna jump into the workshop and start creating a robot. Alright, we are here in the robot lab, and the robot that we are creating in today's episode, actually, the robots, plural, that we're going to be creating in today's episode, has won the voting contest, and we are going to be creating a cluster robot. What is a cluster robot, you may ask? It is essentially two smaller robots that are created and on the same team that weigh both of them together the same as one normal robot. Now, many people can have multiple robots, meaning if you have, let's just say, 8 robots, they all have to equal the same weight, so they would be smaller in size, but there would be more of them. But today we are only going to be doing 2 robots in today's episode. I say only like I'm ready for this. I have never created 2 robots in one episode, so this is gonna be a little weird for me. But you guys have voted, and the comment winner is Ermi Godoy. They wrote, "Hey, it's me again. You know what an idea can be? Make a cluster robot, one being vertical, the other one being a horizontal spinner." This is gonna be a fun idea. I'm really excited for this. But like I said, I've never created 2 robots before in one episode, so I'm a little nervous that I'm going to be able to get this all done on time, so there might be a lot of jumping back and forth, but we're going to see how it comes. I have an awesome theme idea for this robot. Mainly, I don't know if I want to spoil it yet, so we're gonna create kind of a chassis that can work, I guess. I think I'm gonna have to do only a 2-wheel drive just because this is gonna be a tiny robot. Both of these robots are gonna be very small, so I'm gonna try to get a chassis done that I think I'm gonna like, but no guarantees yet. Nothing yet. I have been trying to mess around with the weight system, and I think I'm getting the hang of what I want to do now. So I'm going to spoil the theme now. I'm doing 2 different robots. One of them is going to be yin, the other one's going to be yang. And obviously, I hope you guys have heard of yin yang before. It's a very interesting thing. If you haven't heard of yin yang, Google it, because it's pretty cool. But I'm going to be doing the yin yang thing here, and I'm currently doing yin, which is the dark, evil, unmoral side, I guess, the nighttime. I'm pretty sure, because I'm doing horizontal and vertical spinners, I don't know why, but yin just says vertical spinner to me, and yang is 100% a horizontal spinner. In a perfect world, yang would be a wedge robot where it's all like peace, no weapon kind of, but I think horizontal will work for yang and definitely a vertical for yin. So I've been kind of messing around with what I've wanted to pretty much accomplish, and I think I got the weapon mount that I want, at least for this vertical spinner, and I did half of the yin yang right here. So this one's the black one representing yin, and pretty much this with a white one that connects the same exact but opposite, that will be yang. Now, I'm not going to do it on this robot, so I'm hoping that this tooth can kind of hit right here, like this part. I might have to add kind of a little bite to it eventually if it's not doing what I want it to do, but that's what I'm hoping for. I'm thinking it's going to be good. And now I did do an amp flow 28400, and it's pretty, I think that's going to be a little too powerful if I'm being honest, so I might have to mess with what I want here. I have to pay attention to the volts and everything like that, and the gear ratio. Now, like I said, because there's going to be 2 robots, 110 is the max for the heavyweight division, which is what I'm going to be creating. So that essentially means this robot can only be 55 kilograms. So if I want both of these robots to come out together to be 110 equal, then they're going to have to weigh 55 kilograms at most. All I really have to do left in this robot is to complete the chassis, add some batteries, and that's it. I did the 3 ESCs, I did the 2 double ESCs for the wheel motors right here, and I did a single ESC. I was debating between a solenoid or not. I might change that, but I think this one's going to be fine for now, the single motor ESC for the actual weapon itself. So I'm going to add everything that I want to add battery wise for this robot, which won't be a lot if I'm being honest. It's going to be very little. But we're gonna fill in the chassis and everything. We're gonna start testing out this robot. So I will be back in the test lab itself. Alright, so as you guys can see, I have been doing a little bit of work off camera. I'm purely just doing this type of work off camera just because I'm trying to figure out the best style that this robot will get. I've been going through a bunch of different types of weapons. I've gone through probably like 4 different types of wedges, and the chassis is still kind of bothering me, and the robot still isn't functioning how I want it to be. We are sitting at a crisp 29 kilograms, so we still have some room for error, and that's pretty much all I did besides just some small work. So pretty much what I did was add a custom wedge that is in a pretty unique shape, to be honest, for this type of design. Instead of just having the black part of the yin yang symbol, I'm doing both of them, and then I'm going to add the 2 little teeth on both sides. So I'm going to actually copy this and put it on the horizontal spinner as well, so they're going to have the same exact weapon. I'm still kind of debating if I want to keep these teeth, just because, I don't know, they're not doing what I want, but I also have to keep in mind that this is a very tiny robot right now. I believe it's considered a lightweight right now, so it's not the best robot, and the only way I can test different types of robots is putting them up against other robots to see how it truly functions. And I've been putting this robot up against heavyweights, which has not been going in its favor, if I can say the least. But the robot does drive pretty normally, to be honest. It's pretty fast. It's a decent robot. And the one thing that I'm not happy with, let me go into telemetry right here. I believe it's motor 5. Yes, it is. So as you can see, when the spinner starts going up, it kind of goes a little slow, the temperature gets to about to 80 Celsius. But it does go in the high 4,000s, I think low 5,000s too. I take that back, high 5,000s, low 6,000s, which is really good for a lightweight robot, but this robot is very messy when it comes to driving. As you can see, I just flipped it over. It's a work in progress still, but I wanted to keep you guys up to date with what I've been doing. And I am going to be trying to focus on adding some exterior, I don't even know what to call them, but kind of like, what do they call the wheels on the learner wheels on like a bicycle? That's what I kind of want to do for this robot, not with wheels per se, but kind of like something to help this robot not flip over as easily. Almost put like a cube right here that's like flattened out pretty good, and like that, and just have it extended out. Kinda, it almost looks like a plane now, but it will make the robot not flip over when I'm trying to gyro. As you can see, it works much better now. So I'm still kind of debating what I want to do, and I think this robot's going to need some trainer wheels, but I don't know. It's a work in progress. I also added the belt cover, and I did it on both sides right here. And I'm going to probably add a few more pillars just to connect the two, but I'm not getting close to the 55 yet, which I'm surprised about. This robot's pretty big too for a 55 kilogram robot, and it's working pretty good. Now, I also was testing around with this robot. I was like, wow, this robot's getting demolished, but I also have to think this robot's gonna have a teammate with it. It's gonna be tag teaming with another robot that I'm still going to have to make in this episode. And yeah, so what I'm gonna be doing is copying this robot, because it's not done, but it can work. So I'm going to be copying this robot and moving it over into a new robot. So I'll show you guys how to do this real quick if you guys have never done this before. Okay, so we are here in the robot workshop itself, and you can see all the robots that I have. So if you want to copy a robot and just like maybe add a different attachment, or if you're doing what I'm doing and you want to make a different robot with the same kind of physique, if you will, all you gotta do is click on the robot, hit export. You're gonna be thrown into this little screen right here. All you have to do is name it whatever you want. I'm gonna keep it as is, and then hit export. Now the next thing you want to do is, it doesn't matter what you click, you can just be clicking on whatever, and then you hit import, and then you select your robot, or this one right here, Yin, and hit import, and it'll create a new robot, the same exact copy. So I have 2 of these robots right now. I can go edit it, and this is going to be my Yang. Boom. So that's how you do it, guys. That's how you do it. So now what my plan is to do with this Yang robot is to throw down this dual 28-400 mechanism right here, and we're going to throw down a belt transmission, which will pretty much look like that. Bring it out to about here. I pretty much just copied this entire weapon right here, so I can just copy it over to this robot, and we can just throw it down right there. And I'm still debating if I want to have this on top or on the bottom, but for now we'll just do the bottom, and then we're going to be able to center it as well, which will be very nice. But we can see how this comes out. I could always extend it wherever I want, so the robot will pretty much look like this. So now that we're working on Yang, the horizontal spinner, we have to focus on this robot now. We can't just focus on one robot and get that one perfect. We have to figure out this robot. So as I wait for the spinner to spin up, I did a little bit of work off camera for this robot, and it's actually only one thing. I made this robot invertible, so it can work upside down. If it ever were to get flipped, it can also work upside down. So it seems like the RPM for this horizontal spinner is going to be in the 6,000s, low 6,000s, which I believe is this pretty much the same exact as the vertical spinner itself. The one thing I did notice that this robot has is when it actually spins up, the temperature does not go anywhere near the 80s to the 90s where Yin went. The reason for that, I'm assuming, is because we have a different weapon motor for this. We're using the dual amp flow compared to the other single amp flow. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be the reason to why the temperature isn't all weird, but I'll take it. I'll take it for now. I'm going to try to figure out how to hide at least the gross part of this wheel, because it kind of looks really weird right now. I might change the chassis design. I'm not a big fan of how this looks. Obviously it doesn't look good, nothing close to good actually. So I'm gonna probably mess with the chassis to try to get it how I want. I'm gonna add some color to this robot as well. I think I did for Yin. I kind of just made like this part black right here. I kind of just did a line, something like that. Yeah, that I think that's what I did for Yin, and I think it looks pretty good. It just adds a little splash of the black and white color combination. We are inching close to the 30 kilograms, so that we don't have a lot of room left to spend, but I want to make sure that this robot works perfectly, because I think, in my humble opinion, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this, I think horizontal spinners are much better than vertical spinners, depending on the robot, of course. But I think it's very easy to create a horizontal spinner that's much better than a vertical. So I'm gonna try to put my focus more on this robot to make it perform better. But that's my theory, at least for this robot. The next step that I want to do with this robot as well is add a cover for this belt, and I'm thinking I'm gonna do it for up here and below. I'm gonna have to figure it out. So I'm gonna work on the chassis, and I might add the little belt right here, the belt cover, and we'll see how this robot comes out. I'm assuming I'm gonna be a lot closer to that 55 kilogram mark than I would want to, but there's only one way to find out. After doing a lot of work off camera, I'm kind of confused with what I want to do for this robot, in particular just this Yang robot. I still haven't touched the Yin since we last saw it, but I've done some work for this robot, mainly adding the belt covers, and I think they look pretty good. I don't know, something about it, it just kind of looks right to me. I also added some wheel covers on the side of the robot. They're just cubes. I'm probably going to be fixing these in the future because these just look bad right now. They just look incomplete. I don't know. I have to figure out what I want to do with this robot still. I don't know exactly what I want to do yet, but I'm still trying to figure it out as it comes. I also added a Yang kind of look on top, which I think looks pretty good, to be honest. I kind of made up my own little font system, so I kind of had like a little sharp thing going on, so I'm gonna try to do that and add it to the Yin as well. But yeah, the robot works pretty well. It's not gonna do a lot of damage because it's only 55 kilograms. It's half the weight of normal things that I make in this game. With that being said, I don't expect these two robots together to dish out a lot of damage. I'm not a big fan of CLUSTERBOTS in general, to be honest, either, just because, I don't know, it seems like they got less power in the weapons, they got less armor on, so if one gets knocked out within the first couple hits, then it's just a weight difference between the two robots from a one-on-one perspective. I kind of messed around with the weapon itself too. It kind of bothered me because it wasn't like a perfect circle, and it still isn't a perfect circle, but it's the best I can do right now, and I think it looks fine. But yeah, this is essentially the Yang robot. I think it's done, and I don't think I could add anything else either. I wanted to go with like a little yin yang, like pretty much this design up top too, but it won't look as good because the white on white will kind of blend in right here. So we're not going to do that. I just added the Yang on top, and I'm going to do the same thing with Yin. So I will see you guys on the Yin robot. So I did just one thing while I was working on the Yang robot. I kind of went back and forth when I was doing all this off camera. I added a Shrimik device. So if this robot were to get flipped upside down, if it stops landing, it could just self-right real quick. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, we did it. Okay. So yeah, it looks pretty good. This robot, I think, is the better of the two, just because, I don't know, for some reason, they're the same weapons, different motor, but actually the horizontal is a better motor, in my opinion. This one dishes out more damage. I don't know if it's just the angle of the bite, or I don't know, the torque, the gear ratio, something about it. But this robot just hits harder, and the other one spins up faster. It stays spun. But yeah, I'm gonna add the Yin right here on the design. I'm gonna do that with my custom font that I just created on the spot. And then I think this robot is also done. So we're gonna jump into the Robomania arena once I finish all that, but I'll be back once I get this font down. And boom goes the dynamite. There it is. Boom. Got it. Alright, so we essentially finished this robot. All I have to do is make this robot have armor, just because I set this to like the weakest armor you can get. And I think all I have to do is just, I want it to be Hardox, but it's, oh, it actually didn't put it up there, so that's actually good. I might mess with the rest of the wedge then, just because I want this wedge to be heavy duty. And I'm going to try to get it to 54. Yep, that's perfect right there. So, without further ado, guys, we finished both of the robots, and there's one last thing that we have to do in order for our robots to fight properly. So if we go into the testing cage, we can hit this AI editor right here. And if you guys are on the Discord, you can download this ultimate AI made by Hobo Drew. And this thing's just so cool. You can pretty much set what the robot does when it's set to AI. And you can just kind of mess with it all just to get your robot to do exactly what you want it to do. So if you scroll down, there's a part called Teaming Inputs right here. And all you have to do is, it should say nobody in this spot right here. So it should be like this. But if you wanted to team with somebody, you type that robot's name in this area. I believe it is case sensitive, so just make sure you get the exact copy of the robot's name. You can copy and paste it if you really need to. So once you get that, you save it, hit save I, make sure you hit save I, and then you can back out. Now make sure you do this with the other robot as well, because you don't want that robot to be punching the other one. So over here in team inputs, I have Yin selected with the team with command, and make sure you save that and you're done. So now these two robots will not target each other. They can still do damage to each other, but they will not target one another. Alright, we are here in the exhibition mode, and we have set up Yang and Yin versus Project F. This is a robot that I made not on a video, but it was actually from my recent series in my other channel called Robomania also. And this was one of my favorite robots. I've never seen a vertical spinner like this before, and it actually dishes out a decent amount of damage. Now, I set these two Yin and Yang up against Project F because I don't have a lot of faith in these two robots. I'm speaking honestly here. If I put them up against any other robot, I think they're going to get completely destroyed. But that's not my problem, you know. That's not my problem. These robots are fighting, and they're supposed to be fighting, so there's only one way to settle this, to see how they fight. I just want to point out to you guys real quick that this game is still in development, so there is going to be bugs. And one of these bugs, I don't know if it has been reported yet or not, but one of these bugs is the teaming actually doesn't work. From what I've seen, I plugged it in exactly how it's supposed to be, but the robots will still target one another. Not at the start of the match, but once the match starts getting to go, they will target one another. So this is actually going to be a 3-robot free-for-all essentially, which isn't the best, but it's fine. We're going to start this fight and see how it ends. And here they spin up. Project F slams Yin against the wall, but it does have the self-righting, so it can get out of there. So does Project F, though. Yang goes towards Yin, carrying it on its back. And now they're kind of teaming together. This looks right. They're doing some damage. I'll give them credit. Yang just smashes into Yin. These robots are goofy. I like these robots. Once the teaming actually works, I'll be more confident that the teaming... These robots will be much better on their own. Yang is actually put on its side, so I think it's going to be counted out, which means, oh, it just got out of it. It got out of the count out, at least. Yin is doing some work from behind. It's actually taken some parts off, which is somewhat surprising to me, to be honest. Yin is now pushing Yang up against the wall. Oh, a big hit by Project F. That was a big hit. So now they're doing this little dance because Yang is being counted out right now, but they can't see each other now. See, this is what I was talking about. Once they get in range, like they're doing right now, oh, they just got out of it. Because Project F is coded to think that once this count out happens, because I think Yang is the closest towards Project F, that it just won the fight. But now they're getting close to each other, so here we go. Here we go. This is where the fight begins again, and this is going to be a one-sided affair in my opinion, unless Project F just got mounted up against the wall, got out of it, but still. Oh, big, oh my goodness. I can't get a good camera angle because it still wants to connect to Yang, so I'm trying to, this is like the only camera angle that works essentially, and Yin looks to be damaged somehow, out of batteries. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Project Elf is celebrating though because it is connected to Yang, and it looks like Yin is going to be counted out with about 29 seconds left in the fight. Project F wins it. Anyways guys, I think that's going to end the episode. I'm sorry this was a weird one. I didn't make the robots as good as I wanted them to, but I'm going to be doing a lot off camera. So don't worry about any of that. These robots will come out much better than they are currently right now. My ultimate plan is to just make these robots more detailed, because this kind of bothers me a little bit. Just something about this design. isn't what I'm here for, you know. I might even just do it right now. Just add like some black right here to kind of bring it all together. I'm not sure, but I am going to end the episode, and I hope you guys have enjoyed me making two different robots. I had to cut around a lot in this episode. I was kind of doing a little bit of editing and recording at the same time, so I already know the mess that I'm getting myself into, and I do apologize for you guys. Also, I want to ask you guys a question. This is a question from my heart to your brains. I am going to be doing another poll in today's episode.
I love democracy.
I will be leaving a pinned comment down. I want you guys to scroll down into the comment section and vote on this. What are we going to be making in the next episode? I upped the ante a little bit, and we are doing 4 robot options now. So, you guys have to decide between one of the 4 options in that poll. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you have a great rest of your day, morning, night, weekend, or weekday, whatever it may be. And without further ado, I hope you guys have a good one.